Chapter 3. How Apollo was tricked. Apollo, the god of the sun, had a herd of snow-white cattle, cows and bulls and playful calves. How pretty they looked in the blue meadow of the sky, and how proud he was of them. But Apollo had a young half-brother named Hermes. From the day Hermes was born, he was strong and full of mischief. When he was only a few hours old, he jumped out of his cradle and ran away. He wanted to look at the wonderful new world he lived in. What a whole lot of things he found to have fun with. There was sand and mud to walk through with bare feet, water to splash, birds and butterflies to chase. There were wiggly snakes and toads and lizards, sticks to dig with, stones to throw. What a wonderful world. Then Hermes saw a thing like a big brown stone lying on the ground. When he picked it up, he found that it was hollow like a bowl, and it shone like gold when he looked at the sun through it. It was the shell of a tortoise. What fun Hermes had with it. It was a hat. It was a boat. He stretched out a piece of skin across it, and it was a drum. Rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat. Then he had another idea. He made 2 holes in one end of the shell, and he put sticks in the hole, a frame of sticks, and it looked like an H with long legs. He stretched strings from end to end of his toy, and plucked the strings, and found that it made a pretty music. Hermes called the toy a lyre, and that lyre was the grandfather of all the world's guitars. But soon Hermes grew tired of his plaything, so he hung it over his shoulder and went on. Late in the day, the sun was going down. He came to a green meadow of a mountainside. There he found a herd of white cattle, the cattle of his half-brother Apollo. They had just come from their meadow in the sky to rest for the night there on the mountainside. Hermes scampered around among the animals, chasing the cows, racing with the calves, and teasing the bulls. They were a plaything a boy would not grow tired of. How he wished they were his, to play with every day. No sooner than wished than planned. The bad little boy decided to steal them. He would take them across a rocky ridge and hide them in the valley on the other side. But he must leave no telltale tracks in the meadow to show which way they had gone. So he picked up a stick and began to race from side to side, trying to make the animals turn around and back away towards the rocky ridge. And what is more, he did it. What a sight it was. A herd of 50 snow-white cattle going backwards across the meadow, mooing and bellowing, with the baby boy running around among them, waving a little stick and laughing with glee. When they came to a sandy place, Hermes was stopped for a moment, but only for a moment. He knew his own baby footprints would show in the sand, so he cut branches from a tree and tied them to his feet. Then, walking on leaves, he crossed the sand and left never a footprint. Soon, the cattle came to a rocky ridge. They crossed it, and they were gone, down to the other side. And wonder of wonders, their tracks made it look like they had come from the ridge instead of going to it. When Apollo came for his cattle the next day, the meadow was empty, except for one lonely old bull with twisted horns that had somehow been left behind. Apollo saw lots of tracks coming to the meadow, but no tracks leading away from it. It was as if the cattle had simply disappeared from the meadow. Now, Apollo had eyes that saw more than other eyes could see. As soon as he put his mind to it, he knew that his bad baby brother had stolen the cattle. But where did he hide them, and how did he get them out of the meadow? Apollo knew that there was a trick to it, but he did not know what the trick was, so he went to look for Hermes. He found him lying in his little cradle, kicking his baby feet in the air. Hermes knew very well who Apollo was. He knew that also that trouble was coming, so he gurgled a baby song and made pretty plinking noise on his new toy. "Good morning," said Apollo. "I am your big brother." "Liar," gurgled the baby, and held out his toy in his little fat hand. Apollo was annoyed. "Liar," he said. "Now listen to me, my baby brother. I am here to find out what you have done with my cattle." "Liar," the baby gurgled again and plucked the strings. Pling, pling, plang. "Don't make me angry," said the god, already angry. "I know that you know where my cattle are hidden." "Liar," and this time the gurgle was almost a giggle. The bad little boy was having fun. "Stop calling me liar," shouted Apollo, and he took the baby up in both hands and stood him on his 2 baby feet. "Now march," he ordered. "Show me where my cattle are, or I will put you over my knee and spank you." Then Hermes knew he had better do what his big brother told him, so off he scampered. At the meadow he turned to face Apollo. With a grin he began to run away backwards toward the rocky ridge. Then Apollo saw the trick was, and he laughed. His anger had began to go. What a smart one his baby brother was. Soon they came to the valley, and there under the tree the cattle were, safe and sound. The last of Apollo's anger left him. It seems you took good care of them, he said, and a good thing too. But why did you keep calling me liar? I didn't call you a liar, said the boy with mischief in his eyes. I was showing you my toy. He held it up and ran his fingers across the string. See, this is a lyre. Lyre. Liar. Apollo laughed again. Well, baby brother, you have tricked me twice today, he said, but I like your toy. Give it to me and I'll forgive you for stealing my cattle. I'll even let you take care of them for me since you like them so much, but no more tricks, he said sternly. So Hermes gave Apollo the lyre. When the golden god touched the strings, music came from them such as the world had never heard. It was as if the lyre had been waiting just for his touch. Thus Apollo, god of the sun, of healing, and of prophecy, became also the god of music and of poetry. And what of Hermes? Was he sorry for what he had done? Not a bit. He was only sorry that he had been found out. Yet he could be glad that Apollo let him stay with his pretty pets. Thus Hermes took his place as god of herdsmen and, as one might guess, god of thieves. Zeus, his father, also made him messenger of the gods, and gave him magic sandals with silver wings on them. With them Hermes was able to fly through the air, like the birds and butterflies he had chased on that first wonderful day of his life. Across the sea, people changed his name to Mercury, a name that means quicksilver, and that is just what he was most like, with his swift silver sandals. Quicksilver.